Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back here to my channel where I play Planet Zoo. My name is Nisse and today we're gonna make the last part of Lucca Family Zoo. Last time I started our family farm house here where we put in the horses, cows, sheep and goats, and today we're gonna make a home for the rabbits, pigs and gooses. I'm still not sure how we pronounce that in plural, but let's just get started and see how it goes. The first thing I do is to figure out how much from the build we already have do I want to reuse. So I want to reuse the fence and the theme of the build, but I don't want to make the exact same build. So I use the same metal pieces here, and then I of course also going to use some of the stonework on the inside, but I won't have this stone bottom as I have on the other barn, mainly because in here we're gonna have some geese or gooses and some pigs, and they basically aren't that strong and heavy duty. Pigs can be kind of strong, so I will place some stones on the inside, but they won't reach as high as, for instance, cow will do. And then we of course have the goose in here also, and I'm really not that afraid that they will break through a metal wall. So again, I try to keep the design but make a different building. It's also going to be much smaller, only 4 meters high, with plus roof of course, and then it's going to be smaller also because we only have the 2 animals in here. So here you can see I placed the stone here on the pig size, which only is a meter because pigs aren't really jumping animals. The most damage they will do in here is basically when they rob themselves off of trees, like if you think about the Jungle Book, is he called Baloo? The bear, he's robbing himself off of the tree. Pigs do the same with everything they can get near, so therefore we want something they can rub on instead of the metal. Then just to be sure, I make bars on the windows here, and I just wanted the rustic feel, so therefore the rust poles I use in here. You probably noticed that we have 3 animals we're going to place today, but we only have 2 homes in here. That's because we're gonna do something completely different with the rabbits, and we are also going to make a farmhouse later, so stay tuned if you want to see that. Out here I just make the fence for the goose up here, and I actually forgot to press record when I made the goose part of the habitat, not the building wise, but the foliage and the enrichment. So I'm sorry, I will try to walk a bit through it at another point, but besides that I don't have it, so I'm sorry. I kind of missed the ball on that. But basically much of this will be the same technique, just a lot of the enrichments are just going into enrichment and see what they like, and the other things I make in there I will kind of also do in the other habitats. So here we're gonna put in the doors. In the other habitats I made the staff door outside. Over here I make them inside, because here you would actually want to go around in here also, because we're gonna get a complete floor, a concrete floor in here. So therefore you would have to go in and clean it, where the other floor in the other building is more self-cleaning. But again, it's 2 very different floors, so they need different kind of works. Here you can see also the fencing here is different, and then here we go in with the concrete. The concrete will be completely covered in straw, so therefore they will what's it called? So therefore they won't be too tough to go around for the animals. The pathing out here actually was kind of a pickle to get through, because I wanted to connect these two angles of path without making anything weird, but I actually think I got it in a good way. Yeah, I know the angle looks weird as it is right now, but I promise we will get to it and we will make it kind of pretty. So back here I'm gonna figure out how big we want the piggy's habitat to be, and I end up with this, which actually works fine. The only issue is I wanted something that made sense for a small farm size, but I didn't know how many pigs or gooses or goats or cows for that matter I wanted in a habitat. So some of them are a bit cramped because I thought they wouldn't take up that much space, and some of them looks a bit empty. Also because it's hard to count on how many kids they're gonna have and how much space they are gonna take up. Now I just put in some, I think it's called chicken net in Danish. I'm not sure what's called in English. I only make it for the sides over here because that's where we're gonna have the rabbits. And I'm pretty sure they can get through here. Honestly, they would also be able to dig themselves out. But since we have concrete on both sizes, that would make it the chance of them digging themselves out smaller. And I kind of think in my head that you have concrete in the bottom of it or something, so you kind of have a fence, some kind of fence in the bottom, so they couldn't dig themselves out, because they are masters at that. So here I go in and I only use the initial barrier here to kind of get an idea about what I wanted, which I didn't fully followed, so we're just gonna remove that. These animals in here actually wasn't exactly what I wanted. I wanted some rabbits because rabbits on farms are actually a big part of the historian farm in Denmark. It was kind of a starter animal for back when, you know, every farmer needed to have a son because you have someone who could take over the farm and that kind of stuff. And you could kind of start them out with rabbits and chickens, so they could start learning to take care of animals very, very, very young. And then when they get older, they could learn about the heavier animals. And it's also a kind of easy way to teach your kids to kill off their own animals, because you don't need to be that big to be able to physically be able to kill a rabbit. Mentally is another story, but physically it's aren't that difficult. So it was kind of important for me to have them here in this farm, even though actually I already have rabbits in this zoo in our European forest. But as I said, when I added those in there, it was more like wild rabbits that we are just lucky to have there, where this would be rabbits that you placed here, the zoo placed here on purpose. But again, besides that, it wasn't the animals I wanted in here. I wanted the pigs, of course, but I didn't want these pigs. I wanted I think the mod's called white large pig or something like that, which just is a classical barn pig. Or else I wanted these spotted pigs. I don't know what they're called, but a very classical pig that we have in Denmark and have had for many years in historic through the Danish farm history. So again, I really wanted that. But when I got the idea for all of this, my idea have been swimming around in my brain so long, and I didn't act fast enough, because when all of these domesticated farm animal mods were made, it was for the 1.8 update, which means some of them haven't been updated for the 1.9 update in Planet Zoo. So I couldn't use the large pig I wanted, and I couldn't use the chicken mod. That's only one chicken mod out there, and it wasn't updated for the 1.9. I'm not sure if any of them are going to be updated for the 1.10, but it's up to the modders. I know some modders that don't mod anymore, then some other modders take care of their mods, but some of the modders have so many mods out there, so they can't really keep up, and that's also fair. It's my own fault I waited this long to make the farm I really wanted for a long time. So yeah, up here I make a loft. I kind of wanted like a hay loft up here, because that would be again historically very, very real. But we do have hay loft in the other end of the farm, so I didn't want to actually place hay up here, but I just thought for the building it made sense to have something to give the illusion that it was a hay loft. And again, I did the roof. I just do this exact same as I did on the other barn, so there's not too much about that. Then of course down here we need to fix the door so we can actually enter through these doors. And this is why I would love to be able to just register, like if we just have many doors to pick from, and then you could go in and in some kind of settings from that door, where you could go in and say that's a habitat door or a guest door, or which kind of door it is. I would love that. So here actually you can see our gooses. I made a water area, and I made a stain-free water area compared to the other water areas, because gooses are so disgusting. They smell, they bathe basically in their own poop, so therefore when they splash around the water, I placed a meter-high wall next to it so they wouldn't splash the guest. And then of course enrichment was just what they wanted. So in here we're gonna make kind of the same water enrichment, but without the stained walls. So instead we're gonna make them able to go into the water from multiple angles. So we're gonna start here with a 45, I can't remember the angle I chose here, which I double over here and then double over here. Then next I need to figure out how steep I want it this way, and I choose to make it less steep this way, so I'm sure that if they can't enter the other way, I can enter that way. And then I use a 4-meter wall here to make sure it have the same height as the other places. Then here we come to the tricky part where we does this. If I had the same angle on both sizes, then the middle part here would be easy. But since the one of them are steeper than the other, then it can be quite difficult to actually figure out the exact angle. And the only way to do this is to kind of place it and then wiggle it in. just wiggle until it fits. That's the only way to actually do it. So while I work a bit on that, I just want to remind you that this is the last build for this zoo I'm gonna do here. I'm going to make a new zoo, of course, and I'm kind of feeling like I want to make another future life project like I did in Africa. At this time I just want to do it in Asia. I feel like that would fit nicely into the future life project idea. If you don't know what I mean when I say future life project, it's basically a zoo that isn't a zoo where you don't have guests. Instead you have what they called people who rich people who want to give you money for the project, basically, who wants to visit the zoo and see, or not the zoo, to see where the money goes. So it would be more like a project to reintroduce a lot of animals to the wild. And there's a few rules about it. For instance, I can't keep or sell any of the animals that get born in my zoo. The story is, of course, that we try to get animals back to nature, but the animals we take in is basically the ones who wouldn't survive in nature for one reason or another. Maybe they're too old, or they're hurt in some way, or something like that. And therefore I choose not to release them to the wild, but instead keep them there in their home country, a way that they can live out their natural life. And some of them will breed, and every single offspring we get there have to be released in the wild. That's the rule. On the other hand, we don't get many guests, of course, because the guests we do get would be benefactors. That was the word. So we need also to have some really exclusive places for the benefactors to see, like a conference building and a place they can spend the night. Maybe we did make a lion hut, I think it's called, in Africa, where you could basically live in a tree house or something like that, right above the lions, which I thought was kind of amazing. But everything needs to be high class and not too expensive, because again, the benefactors want to help the animals. But a lot of what we do are to try to get people to give us their money, so we want to be able to impress them. And then I made a few storylines, for instance, with the I can remember that we got ring-tailed lemurs because little Tim visited with his father, and he didn't understand why King Julian wasn't there when all of his friends was. So therefore his father donated a lot of ring-tailed lemurs, so the next time the kid came, then we would have King Julian. So that's pretty much what's next for me here. I do also play around with the idea of maybe have more than one zoo at the time, so I would have like a future life project and a normal zoo at the same time, also because when I do the future life project, it is about bringing animals home, and that means when we are placed in Asia, which I think about doing now, then I can't use any animals from other places, and all the animals I do need to be in the order of how endangered they are. So for instance, not critical endangered animals I can't use. So I basically just go into Zoopedia and look what are the most endangered animals, and sometimes I use some mods if I know an animal that are critical endangered. So please, if you know of a critical endangered animal from Asia, or maybe a almost extinct animal from Asia, please tell me in the comments below, and then we will work on that. Hopefully the modders will get on it with a lot of mods, and also we can maybe ask one of them to help us if we need a specific animal for some reason, but I think we have to have a good reason because a lot of them are very busy. But back to today. Here, as you can see, I wanted to give the piggies 2 mud poles, and we are just placing foliage in here that they wouldn't break. So that would be bushes that are very bendy, and then thick trees, not anything too easy to break. And we place most of it in this end. So again, we have a foresty area and then another area that is more opened, which means that they can go down. They don't need to go inside. If they want to be in the shadow, they can just go beneath the trees. And then down here we use some of this, I think it's called sea kelp or something like that. And I place a lot of it because this water would be so goddamn dirty, because piggies are dirty. So we're also gonna change the water here to dirty again, because even though the keepers drain this every morning and clean it out, the piggies would keep making it disgusting. So the dirt water makes much more sense. And then I wanted them to have a clean water supply, so we're gonna bring that in here. In my head again, it would be automatically refilled here. It's sitting on a building basically, so you would be able to have a hose you could just fill with, but the keepers would in the game will do it, of course, because that's how the game works. But on a farm, the piggies actually don't live like this. Mostly a mom would have a field on her own, and then she would have a little piggy house. The little piggy house is actually what I'm going to build here, because I still want to be able to show the guest how this piggy house works. But there's 2 reasons why I won't give them to the pigs. First of all, they are kind of small and we can give our piggies something better here. And also just the fact that the game doesn't work, so the piggies won't be able to go in here because there's only a meter. So it wouldn't work, they wouldn't be able to go in there. So instead, actually, we just use it as a bunny house. And then we could still use that story. I also placed one outside the habitat, so the children would actually be able to go inside. And people could see it and how it works. So these small pig houses, I actually think mine is a bit bigger than the ones on the field normally. But that would be a house for a mom and these small piggies before they was removed from the mother, of course. And then I just placed this fence inside here to make sure that no one goes through the walls. That's just a game thing. Now, I wanted a water hole for the rabbits, but I didn't want to make a big lake or anything like that. So I just wanted a little small water thing. So I placed the bottom piece, and then I just tried to place these. And then I wanted somehow to just make it like a what it called when it have 8 sides. I'm not sure. So I just calculated where they should be, because when I do this, now you can see it fits. Then I place this down so we have the concrete bottom, and then I forgot that we don't have anything on the sides. So we're gonna cover it again, pick it up, and then go in with the sides, which would have been easier to do beforehand. But why do something easy? So again, I just try to work on the angles here to make it fit. I just want to note that even though this is the last build of the zoo, it won't be the last video. I have recorded another video which basically just is a zoo tour. I won't build anything, but I won't just take you for a tour around the zoo, so we will revisit every single habitat. Some of them I talked a bit about, and some of them I just went fast through, but if you want to see that, the video is recorded, but I need time to edit it, so it will probably be up Monday or Tuesday. And since I can see most of the people who watch my video is from the US, so it will probably be up pretty soon for you, because I mostly upload in the afternoon here in Denmark, so it's pretty early for you, but it will come up either before or just after the new update. So maybe while you are downloading the new update and maybe the DLC, you can go and watch that. Only if you feel like it. There's no pressure here. So the issue about the rabbits is, even though I gave them 4 houses, there aren't enough shelter in this habitat. So I go in here and kind of make parasols. I use the same wood as I do for the barrier, because I kind of feel like you would in a zoo just buy like some pellets of them and just get enough of it, and then you would afterwards just have something left. So there would probably be some kind of handyman, caretaker or something like that at the zoo who could fix up some of these. So we're gonna build, I think, 3 of them, or I'm building 1 and then we're gonna copy it. No reason for building more of them. But the man who did it in this game would. So we're gonna place the 3 of them in this end and this end only. It's because, like the pigs, we're gonna have 2 different areas. So down here we're gonna make the beachy beach. So we're gonna have a lot of sand. The rabbits here, it's not any rabbits, it's the giant Flemish rabbit, I think it's called. So they want a lot of sand, so we're gonna give it to them. And in the other end, we're gonna have a more foresty area where they can hide in the bushes, and there's a lot of trees, so there will be natural shelter in this end. But not anything wild and crazy. And then of course we need to make sure we have room for the enrichment we need. So we're gonna give them a lot in here. There are a lot of rabbits, and I think I may place too many, because the ones you can see now is adult, and rabbits breed like rabbits basically. So if you let them run around, they will multiply fast if they can figure it out, because if you watch a lot of my videos, you know I have been breeding rabbits for a while, and at some point we have a male rabbit that just couldn't figure it out, and I got him specifically for breeding, and at some point I just gave up because he liked the females and the females liked him. So I actually just let him move in with 2 females, and he was fine with that. Until 6 months later, I think, where I came out and he was dead. But instead, both of the females had gave birth to babies. So he actually finally figured it out when I wasn't looking, and the mothers probably killed him. I guessing he was going too close to their babies. I know that's my fault, and I am very, very sorry for that. But it's just to tell you that if rabbits can figure out how to do it, they breed a lot, but you can actually have rabbits that just don't know how to, and that's also okay. And if you have had rabbits at home just for fun, maybe you should be happy if your rabbit just don't know how to do it. But yeah, I think you can already now see where I'm going with all of this. We have a lot of balls, we have a lot of feeding enrichment, and I did choose not to place any just food trunks for them because I thought this was enough. It turns out it wasn't, but I didn't figure that out before I made the cinematics. And then we were going to close down the zoo, so that's fine. We put a little bit of straw in here, and now we go for the fun part. Okay, the fun part is maybe too much to say because for me all of this is fun. But basically I want a farmhouse to go with the farm. But furthermore, I kind of wanted a functional farmhouse. So I'm gonna build it out of a, what's it called, staff room. So guests or workers actually will go in there. And I want to give it kind of a old coloring color scheme. So I'm gonna make it pink, sorry, blue here, but not completely. So the windows and the doors will be pink. You maybe think they are already all, but we're gonna place more because the side door here would normally be a kitchen door or a side door, but we want a front door on the other side, which I just went in and looked up flexi-colored doors, what did work, and then I tried to hit the exact same pink color, which I kind of did, but not really. So yeah. I'm pretty sure some people would be able to just watch that color and then know it, but I don't. And then I was looking for some windows, and I picked not these. No, these. I went with these and then made a couple of them here, and then a couple of them over here, and then I just copied that to the back side and placed a couple in the middle, and then I used them to cover up the windows we already have here, and then I'm gonna lower every single window to make them fit there, and move these over there, and then just move over here. I didn't cover up the door because I didn't find anyone that just matched, but I think this looks very nice. So next is the rooftop, which I didn't really know what to do, so I go to my go-to roof, which is this, which is from the General Zoo pack from JoJo. And then I kind of wanted something different in the front, so we're gonna go with this shape instead, which isn't perfect, but it works and I kind of like it. So it does what it should. I do know it's a very small farmhouse, but historically a lot of smaller farms was more normal than one big one earlier on, so it really isn't that weird. It was important for me that my farm here didn't only tell about how we have animal on a farm today, but also historically and how much they actually meant for the history. And the Danish history have actually been shaped a lot by the farms, actually also the economy, because in Denmark we figured out a lot of countries like bacon, for instance England, and some English people actually thought we can give this cheaper other places. So what did Danish people do? They figured out a way to breed pigs with 2 extra ribs. So now there's more spare ribs and there's more bacon on Danish pig than there are on other pigs. Yeah, if you didn't know that, I kind of understand why, but it's just, I just think it's amazing and tells so much about what a industry can do if they work together, because one farmer probably wouldn't have been able to do this because you didn't want to inbreed. So it have been a lot of farmers working together to figure out how to do this, and it's actually quite normal now in Danish pigs. Not all species, of course, or breeds of pigs because it is a specific pig it's bred on. But I just think it's an amazing story, and now you all also know it, and maybe you didn't want to know it, but maybe you did. So there you go. Of course, we also need some. I know it's not called fins when it's for humans, but I just wanted to make sure, because the guests can go up here, that it wouldn't fall down. Just clean this up. And personally, I just think there are so many stories like that that are only getting told either by museums, which, let's face it, normal people don't visit that often. But also the fact that it's just getting lost. A lot of older people actually know it, but I'm pretty sure most people at my age don't know it. It's only because I actually worked at a kind of living museum out in Holbæk here in Denmark, called Andelslandsbyen. If you are in the neighborhood, I would really recommend you going out there, because you don't only visit a museum. It is a living history, so you don't. There really isn't that many signs or anything like that you can go around and eat, but you are mostly outside, and then you can go down to the I'm calling it a farm. I have no idea what it's called in English, but it was basically a house for a family where they would have like 1 or 2 cows, maybe a pig, a few horses, and that would be it. Maybe chickens or something like that. So very, very small. You could go down to the local. It's not a store. It's basically, again, a man who have his house, and then a part of his house is a store where you could buy what you needed, but nothing else. Which the entire museum is dated in the 40s and 50s, I think. And it's basically, you go around in this in the story instead of just reading about it, and it's very amazing. And in specific days, they have things like, we have Danish and German actors recreate parts of Second World War. We had days where people come with their veteran tractors and that kind of stuff, or cars or something like that. So we have there are special events out there. I can really recommend go out there and visit the place if you are in the neighborhood. It's really amazing to be out there. So for here you can see I just put in a lot of mulch, because around an old farmhouse I think they would kind of look pretty, but nothing that you would need to take care of every day. So I placed the mulch here first, and then we're gonna go in very simply and put in some foliage, and I can stretch enough very simply. But first the mulch here actually, and it took such a long time. You probably can see it, but this is sped up by 10 times faster than I did it. And I wouldn't want to. I did try to speed it up more, but then I got dizzy by looking at the screen, so I wouldn't do that. But we already almost done now, so that's probably good. And then we're gonna place some dirt underneath, just to get rid of tall grass and that kind of stuff. And then I think we're gonna go in with some trees, and we're gonna go for timbered European trees, and then I think these small Christmassy trees, which I think is very nice. But it's also, I don't remember what they're called, but most of these evergreen Neil trees of what they're called. It's Neil trees in Danish. It's probably not that in English. most of them actually grow very, very fast, so you could build the house and then grow them afterwards, while the tree I place over here would take such a long time to grow that big. So this tree had to be placed there probably before the house, or it would be the first thing you did after the house. And then the house has just been here for a long time, and the trees on the other side you could actually just place there, and within not a few years, but maybe 10 years or something like that, they would grow very big. And then we just go in beneath here and place some foliage. I have this thing where I always go biggest to smallest. I know other YouTubers always place the smallest first. Because it's easier to place the bigger things in after that's what they think. And the important thing is with foliage, you do it how you want to do it. I just have more visual idea of where to place things if I have the biggest things in place first. But here you can see, again, as I said before, it's very basic, because a farmer's wife wouldn't, in Denmark anyway, I don't know about other countries, but they never used to be just the wife inside the kitchen. They had to go out and help in the field, and especially during the wars. A lot of farms in Denmark and other places were most driven by the wives, the daughters, and sometimes the sons if they were young enough to not be sent to war yet. So therefore it needed to be something that looks a bit pretty, but didn't take too much to take care of it, and at the same time actually the zoo wouldn't either want something that demanded too much attention. And then back here I placed these because it kind of looks like something you wouldn't place but just are there. That was the feeling I was going for, because the next thing I do out here is actually place some trees, of course, but also some fields, and we're gonna use this part. And again, this was something that really took a long time, so therefore, of course, again, I speed this up by 10. Please tell me in the comments below, is it too fast or too slow? I'm not sure, because it is so much just copy paste and doing the same thing over and over, and I didn't want to bore you, basically. So please tell me what you think. And then here I just go through everything to trying to figure out what looks like a flower. No, not flowers. Different things that would grow on a field, and these looks like something that's haven't fully grown yet, but are on their way to become something much bigger, so they made sense to do. And then copy. Again, as I said, a lot of copy pasting. I love the end result with these fields, but it took such a long time. It will take some time before I do that again. But we're gonna end up with 4 fields, and we're gonna take these 2 which are basically the same. Then I'm gonna place one over here. Just gonna fix it there and there, just little there. And then I just want to make it fit here so it goes closer to the path. And again, just copy to make it fit again. And then lastly, we have down here, we're gonna have probably the biggest field, which are going to be placed down here. And just again make it fit. And copy the last part here, like that. So now we have 4 fields, so now let's figure out what we're gonna have of them. Of course, I place dirt around them because it is quite difficult to keep grass healthy around a field if you're gonna go and fix it all the time, which you would probably do in a zoo. So here I imagine it's a grass field, so I'm gonna use these, and again we're gonna copy a lot over here, and these I actually place very close to the edge compared to all of the other fields and not in lines, because grass normally are sawed, what's it called when you put it in the ground, much closer than other things on the field, because they don't take on that much space, so therefore it would be much closer. Then I place something over here, which I'm not sure what it looks like, but it looks like again something that have are on the way to grow. Maybe it's just a what's it called, Ragmark. You know, sometimes you can choose to make a field just grow with weeds and everything for a year, so the soil will be more healthy afterwards. So it could be that. I'm not really sure. I didn't plan this part. This part was basically I go in and look what looks like something else, and then I found I think it's the elephant grass here. That looks like corn, and it actually looks like there are months before harvesting, so that's actually very nice. Again, this won't change according to the year, so it won't completely fit into the storyline, but I'm still really happy with the result here. And I actually think it took a long time, but I actually think compared with the result and how many pieces is in here, I'm actually very happy with it. So now we actually have something else. Oh, I just remember we have the tree, so I put some evergreens over there, and then we're gonna put some of these over here in a bundle, and the rest of them are basically the trees that the game plays around in a timber zoo in Europe anyway, so it's just to block off the view. Normally if you grow your own things for the animals, which I don't think you would, there wouldn't be food enough for your animals in these fields. So normally if it was a farm you would have more fields, but this you would probably buy some of the food. But now we get to the fun part. We're gonna look at some blueprints here, and the first one we place down here is just called Tractor, and it's by Keyboard Keeper. The other tractor here with the front loader and the little crate is called Tractor with Loader and Crate, and it's by France 9810. And the trailer I'm gonna put on it is from the bigger blueprint here called Backstage Pack V2 Animal Transport, and it's by Carlos_G72. So I'm gonna mix these two in together. After this, I'm also gonna use the truck from here, and then I will go to the other blueprint here called Animal Transport Trailer by JR. And it's just a trailer, but I've got to use that with the truck also. And all of these 4 blueprints will be listed below in the bottom and the description. So if you don't want to see anything else, just scroll to the bottom and it will be there. This trailer and wagon is actually the only one I think would be functional in this zoo, and that's why I choose to fence it in. So you in the morning would use it to feed the animals, and then you would clean it up, place it here, and then fence it in so people could see it, but they can't touch it. Where I think the rest of the tractors and trailers and truck out here would be more like for kids can climb on them, they can have fun, they can take a look at that. Both tractors actually looks like fairly old models, especially the first one we placed. So that would actually probably, there are actually, if you go into Steam Workshop and go in and look on it, you can see that it's, what's it called? he have a picture of the tractor it's modeled after, and that's actually a older tractor, and it's actually a really cool tractor, which I actually think I have driven one of those at a point. A lot of these older models looks a lot the same. Today in Denmark, the way it is a rule that you need to have a house on a tractor, so none of these would be legal to use at a workplace in Denmark. Then of course we need the donation boxes here, and we place some trash cans, fix the last small things here, and I think we're getting close to the end. I can't actually remember what else we did. Oh, we fixed a bit of the foliage out here. I've forgotten to do before. And what else did we do? Yeah, I just think we're gonna go over here. Oh, of course we need some education boards, and as we did in the first build we made here with the bigger barn, we're gonna go in and just place the education board. Even though I love the indication signs I usually use and have used every single other place in the zoo, I just thought at a farm it would be more in the theme to just go basic and only place the boards. So that's why I did that. I have actually thought afterward that it would make sense to have some kind of signs for the fields, because most people wouldn't know what was on them. But besides that, I'm actually very happy with this build, and I can't believe it, but I actually don't have much more I need to say before we're done. It's normally the other way around. Normally I speak way too long, but I think we have a few, maybe a minute or something left here before we're done. So you know what, I'm just keeping quiet now and let you enjoy your moment of peace. Enjoy the cinematics also, and I will come back when we are at the end. Okay guys, I'm back. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm so proud of my animal farm here. I really hope you enjoyed it. You know the drill, like, subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you know the next time I upload a video. I really hope to see you again either in the comments below or in the next video. Bye guys!